Hey guys, welcome to my channel, where we dive into all things true crime, crazy and unknown historical events, ghost phenomena, and more. I also traveled to some of the locations that I talk about, so definitely consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on my upcoming adventures. Today's story is a very peculiar one about a mysterious ad in the New Yorker magazine just weeks before the attack on Pearl Harbor that seemingly foreshadowed the attack. Although it has since been debunked, this mystery did plague the nation for quite a while, even being investigated by intelligence agencies. Some people, even to this day, don't believe that it's actually been solved, and rather it was just a convenient cover up. But if you don't know this story already, buckle up and let's dive right into it. This week marks the 81st anniversary of the tragic attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Actually, as I'm filming, it's exactly 81 years to the day, which made me start thinking about this story that a friend of mine told me a while back about this mysterious ad that appeared just weeks before the bombings occurred. The ad itself was peculiar due to the depictions and wording, but people didn't really think anything of it until after the attacks occurred, later making terrifying connections to the two events. On November 22nd, 1941, 16 days before the attack took place, an issue of the New Yorker magazine promoted an ad with the headline that read, "Uchtung, warning, alerte," depicting an air raid in progress, and below the ground was a family that was gathered in a shelter playing a dice game. The ad continued by saying, "We hope you'll never have to spend a long winter's night in an air raid shelter, but we were just thinking it's only common sense to be prepared. If you're not too busy between now and Christmas, why not sit down and plan a list of all of the things you want to have on hand?" Followed by a list of items that were deemed important, that might be useful in this event, concluding with a sentence that read, "And though it's no time really to be thinking of what's fashionable, we bet that most of your friends will remember to include those intriguing dice and chips, which make up Chicago's favorite game, the Deadly Double." And the ad stated that the game was available in department stores everywhere. Throughout this issue of the magazine were smaller ads that just referred back to the main ad, and at the very bottom of all of these smaller ads were two dice which showed the numbers 12 and 7, the very date that Pearl Harbor was eventually attacked just 2 weeks later. One peculiar aspect of these dice was the fact that the 12 and 7 were on them in the first place, due to the fact that normal playing dice, like the ones that were seemingly depicted, only go up to the number 6. The ads were signed by a company named the Monarch Publishing Co. New York. However, after further investigation from an intelligence officer, it was discovered that this company never existed, causing the ads to have a malevolent undertone. The investigation that followed ran into nothing but dead ends, causing the theories to run rampant over the years. The ad had been placed across the counter in New York, and the whole thing was paid for in cash, rather than a check or a money order like most ads were at this time. And the clerk who had accepted the ad had no recollection of who had even placed it in the first place. The investigation concluded that due to all of the dead ends it was running into, it couldn't be proven or disproven that the ad had any connection to the attacks. One thing was missed, however, during the investigation that could have solved the mystery from the beginning, and despite many people latching on to the theory that this ad was a double entendre for the impending attack, shortly after the article was published in regards to all of the peculiar findings in the investigation, the New York Times identified the creator of the Deadly Double, which was a real dice game that had no actual link to World War II or the attack on Pearl Harbor. And according to the article that followed the accusations, Roger Paul Craig and his wife reached out to the paper to exonerate Roger for having malicious intent behind the creation of the ads, and show that although they were indeed cryptic, it was just all a series of unfortunate coincidences, thus solving the Pearl Harbor mystery once and for all. But this doesn't stop people from still speculating about all of the meanings behind those peculiar ads, even to this day. But that is going to do it for today's video. What do you think about these ads? Is there some validity behind people questioning the true meanings? Personally, I can't seem to understand why the dice depicted a 12 and a 7, unless the game is played with non-traditional dice. Had you ever heard of these ads before? I'm also curious to see if there was anyone that didn't know that this was solved, because I didn't know that before starting my research. I mean, I'm sure that the friend that told me this story probably didn't know that it was solved either, but definitely leave a comment down below and we can continue the conversation down there. Also, be sure to hit the like button if you did enjoy this video, but as always, I appreciate any and all support, and I will see you in my next upload.